being vulnerable in my kitchen because it's a safe location, so there's no reason anyone would ever want to attack. Jesus. What? Chris!
Hi, Track.
Just ask me to come in the other room, you little freak.
Okay, so, in the year of 1997, a movie came out known as Cats Don't Dance, directed by Mark Dindal. It was a big budget, not Disney musical in the vein of a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood style story. Starring Scott Bakula, the dude from Quantum Leap, as a singing cat. Hollywood's weird. The history behind the production of this film is staggering. The original concept of this film back in 1993 was supposed to star Michael Jackson with all of his own original music. In fact, he was supposed to be a producer on this film. It was also going to be a live-action animated hybrid movie in the vein of like Space Jam. But after a year or so of production, Michael dropped out, and so little is known about this version of the story, it's really nothing more than just a cool footnote, but like still. That's not the only major change that this movie saw during production. Given that this movie was stuck in production hell throughout the Turner-Warner Power Hour merger of the 90s, there was an uncertain power structure that led to an endless line of production notes from so many different people, including the note to actually change the setting to 50s era Hollywood. You know, one of the most defining and thematic aspects of the film. That'd be like finding out one of the 3 laws that Murphy has to follow in RoboCop was just like something the writer read on a fortune cookie at lunch one day. Oh wait, that's also true. Look it up. Hollywood is crazy, and creativity is stupid. So, how did this film ultimately fare with such choppy production? Well, it tanked, at least in the box office, and never really financially recovered. But thanks to the same merger that was part of the problem, Time Warner had a wonderfully Cartoon Network-shaped hole that it could dump all of its work into, allowing this movie to see a ton of airtime throughout the aughts. And it garnered a very dedicated cult following. No, not like that. Although, the Lord herself did work on this movie. Personally, I found that animation students, and some furries, mostly furry animation students, cite this as their not quite a Disney childhood influence film. You see, we all have a top 5 animated movies that influenced us, and it usually goes something like Disney movie, a Disney-like movie, random anime movie, usually Miyazaki, probably a Bakshi or a Bluth film, and then number 5 is the wild card. This is the one you are going to judge another individual's character on, and decide if they are friend or foe.
Am I wrong?
It's my favorite
She
movie.
wore a crown and she came down in a bubble, dog!
I'm not fighting with you.
Grow up,
I'm not fighting
bro.
with you.
So talking about the motion in this film, it's important to note that toons don't got no bones, and Warner Brothers was all about using that fact to remold their characters into whatever shape they needed to fit the scene, for obvious benefits, and also it can be kind of hard to set tension when someone can just get crushed by an anvil. Cartoons and cartoon movies of this era would often kind of pick a lane between the two. But now people who were influenced by CDD are growing up, and we're seeing that effect on their work. Visipop is one of the most notable examples that I can think of, as she loves to make her folks not have a spine, and like that's fine, but it's just, you know, bunch of snaky weirdos. Either way, CDD is all about everyone being made up of clay, and it leads to some crazy frames like Sawyer's Little Knife Hands. Woo-cha-cha-cha! Knife hands. You see, after Michael Jackson dropped out, and then they realized it was going to be set in Golden Age Hollywood, they reached out and got Gene Kelly to work on this movie as a choreographer of all things. Who's Gene Kelly? How do you not know who Gene... Was he in Shrek? Well, actually, no, he wasn't, but I don't see how that... If he wasn't in Shrek, then, must not be so important, eh? Look, just because you don't know who he is doesn't mean that he wasn't important. And just because you studied it doesn't make it common knowledge either, mate. Fair. Gene Kelly was a dancer, an actor, a comedian, a writer, a producer, and about 100 other titles. I.e., he was the Tommy Oliver of Hollywood. He could have his own Ranger team of just like him. His long-lasting influence on performance, verisimilitude, and his memorable song and dance numbers cannot be overstated. And I bring all of this up because the Gene Kelly type is clearly who they were going for when casting and writing Danny as our MC. Also, Gene Kelly was up to the task of being a choreographer in an animated movie, as he has done this sort of thing before.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
La 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 la.
La 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 la.
You see?
It's easy.
Fun fact, the movie that clip is from came out almost the exact same week that we dropped the bombs that ended World War II. History, much like creativity, is stupid. Commercial break. We'll be right back. So go into the kitchen and make yourself a snack. Hoping and praying for a brighter day. I listen to my heart and I obey. How could I see it any other way? I'm looking at life through my own eyes.
Liberty Kids, every weekday on PBS.
was the biggest race of the year. And no matter what, I was gonna win. Sometimes things happen you just can't explain.
Whoa, I believe there are angels among us.
And some things are more important than winning.
Sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to.
Thanks for watching all the stupid ads. You gave me more affection than I got from my dad. Gene Kelly did pass away during the making of this movie, and it is in fact why this movie is dedicated to him. And while I personally would consider it a huge honor because I truly think that this movie is amazing and that it understood Hollywood better than any white people get their dreams Oscar bait that's come out in the last 20 years, the movie did tank. Many people have only heard of it because it played on Cartoon Network, and even fewer give it the time of day outside of that. Still though, they got the formula down. Country cat in the big city trying to achieve his dreams, only to find out that there's a dark side, and his personal drive and passion is gonna take him as far as he wants, and more. Sex more. Cause he's gonna bone Sawyer. It's all classic stuff. And Gene being the one to give life to Danny's moves gives the story that much more authenticity. Animation at its core is about movement, or at least the illusion of it. So a big and loud, classical musical to-do would fit right into the animation format. Animation and music have always had a deep connection. Something about the freedom to express the way music can make us feel unhindered by the confines of physical form. I don't know. During the Animal Jam session, we get to see how music bleeds into them, putting the color back and giving them hope again, because they're doing what they love. And before all of that is over, Sawyer and Danny are transported to this whole different dimension, something also Golden Age musicals liked to do, by the way, but it feels more natural in animation, because the thing I said before. But it's these sorts of creative choices that really show the craftsmanship of this film. And man, I'm just really blowing this movie. At least let me know who I'm blowing. Who did the music for this anyways? Wait. What?
No.
Okay. I know we're all in shock here, but to be honest, this isn't too weird. Most people know Randy Newman for his work with Toy Story or Monk, but he really did get famous for writing shit like
Sad song for the sailor 1,000 miles from the sea.
So like, he does have talent. Plus he wasn't singing all of the songs. But seriously, could you imagine that movie? Pick any song in Cats Don't Dance and just imagine that song sung by old macho man Randy Newman himself.
I've seen 'em come and I've seen 'em go. There's one thing that I know. You gotta give the people what they want, or you wind up back in Kokomo, Nebraska. Indiana, Miss Dimple. Whatever. They like it big, they like it loud, maybe a little bit jazzy sometimes. Mr. Pussycat, listen to me. You don't have to be good, but you had better be. I built a little boat, as cute as it can be, and I put all the animals 2 by 2 in my little boat on the sea. The moo cows went moo.
Anyway, man, what could have been? Now, this movie is far from perfect. Having watched it as many times as I have, I can honestly say that I found the pacing and story beats to be lacking. Not by much, just small things, like with Max, Danny, and Pudge.
How does the kitty cat go?
Meow. How does the kitty cat go?
Meow.
Very good.
See, Danny finally gets that line over on Max, and that works for his big hero moment. But the problem is, Danny never really had a beef with Max in particular. Plus, Danny actually got to stick it to his actual rival, which would be Darla. But you know what would have been a great David and Goliath payoff? Pudge getting to outwit Max. Not only is it kind of your second in command lackey versus lackey thing, plus we get this kind of setup right here.
I was gonna slug that big dumb Max for you, but I didn't want to hurt the guy.
And how often Max lays hands on Pudge, I just feel like it would have been a better payoff and given Pudge something to do, because otherwise he's just kind of farting around in the movie being a fat kid. But honestly, between the constant rewrites and production changes, the story is more or less passable. Plus, I've been harping on it, but this whole thing's just a glorified Looney Tune. So, it's not so much about the drama, it's about the pageantry, the art, the form,
For the glamour.
What, this pigsty? No offense, sir.
None taken.
Unless, of course, you're referring to the glamour of filing. The romance of typing. Tilly, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just fixing you up. You'll want to look pretty in case you meet someone nice.
Yeah, right. As if he's gonna come waltzing right through that.
That's gonna be fine, kid. You're the cat's meow. Hey, you can meow, can't you? Sawyer! Ah, Sawyer, sweetie, baby.
Whatever it is, the answer is no.
I'm in a bit of a jam.
Too bad.
Can't find a female cat for the art picture.
Tough tabby.
So guess who gets to fill in?
You?
Nah, I only fill in for those dashing Clark Gable types.
Frankly, Clark, I don't give a...
Sawyer.
I'm a secretary, not an actress.
Come on, I'll give you Sundays
I
off.
never work Sundays.
Hey, double time.
Triple time.
Triple time.
Is there an echo in here?
You're pushing me?
No chow, no meow.
Okay, triple time. Here's your partner. He's new in town. Be nice.
The dialogue is so snappy in this movie, and I love it. There's like no room for a downbeat. It's just a collection of nonstop jokes or fun musical numbers. Where that can fall flat is that this movie is only one film. So the characters might come off as more vehicles for jokes rather than fully fleshed out people. But all in all, its vaudevillian fast-talking pace is very reminiscent of the era that they are paying homage to. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, but ultimately I think it works in the movie's favor.
So, is this movie just really good? Like, I understand that you have a lot of, like, positive things to say about it, but is that it? Just it's a decent movie?
Well, I mean, it's not just that it's a decent movie, although I am impressed that they were able to make something this smart and interesting and honestly engaging despite the creative hurdles they suffered from the production side of things.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, movies suffer from all sorts of creative hurdles all the time. It's not the craziest aspect of any film, so what is it then?
I don't know. I guess growing up, I loved the movie Cats Don't Dance. But I want to talk about this because I watched this movie a ton. Because, you know, that's how kids work. And as I got older, I began to think more about the trimming of the film. And I realized that it was a straight up racial allegory for typecasting in Golden Era Hollywood. But, like with most things, I thought I was wrong. So, I did what I always do with information. I looked it up on the internet. This sent me down a rabbit hole of learning about all sorts of things, like Darla Dimple just being a Shirley Temple allegory. And no joke, I was like, wait, who? Oh yeah, that white bitch who sings about animal crackers in that one commercial. But I also learned about her dancing partner, Bill Bojangle Robinson. And while learning about him, I found out a book called Tom's, Coons, Mulattoes, Mammies, and Bucks, an interpretive history of blacks in American film by Donald Bogle. And my little dumbass pimpled face learned that my film teacher had a copy of that book. So I borrowed it and read it, much to the chagrin of my other teachers, when a 6-foot, fat white kid with pigtails and a skirt sits down at their desk reading a book with Coon emblazoned on the cover. I was a weird kid. This book, along with about 70 movies made by black directors, my film teacher also lent me, helped me truly understand my place of privilege for the first time. That art, and knowing the context and history, helped me truly realize how deeply interwoven systemic oppression really is. That it doesn't go away when it's called out once or twice. It just gets better at hiding itself. And to me, this lesson was invaluable, and Cats Don't Dance was the one who taught it to me. As stupid as that might be.
So I guess I just kind of wanted to say thank you.
Thanks for watching my video, dog. I'm glad that you could come along. If you like what you saw, then get on Patreon. You can give a little money to this broke-ass bunny. Put some food in her chubby bunny tummy. My favorite character from Shrek is definitely Donkey. I don't know how to end raps, but can I get a pug and chat? Share the video around, take the algorithm down. Start a protest in town, cops killing people brown. Fuck cops. Fuck cops. Seriously, fuck cops.